Being autistic but not knowing that you're autistic can feel like somebody's playing a cruel joke on you. So let's talk about some more signs that you may have undiagnosed autism as an adult woman. Number one, you feel a need to rehearse the things that you'll say before going out. And this can look like you preparing for a party or a wedding or a social gathering where there's a lot of people there. You think about the things that will be said to you before in advance. So that way, when you are told these things or when people ask you questions, you have a perfectly crafted response. And this is because your relationship with shame isn't the best. And you don't want to be caught with your pants down, literally or figuratively. So you don't want people to ask you things and for you to feel like you don't know what exactly to say. And this can also feel like being asked things and not knowing how to respond. And keep in mind, none of us are ever completely smooth in social situations, but you have had so many encounters in your life where you feel like you were expected to say the right thing and you couldn't deliver. So you feel like you have to prepare in advance so that way you have all your bases covered. Number two, skill regression. This is when you wouldn't normally struggle with things like cooking, showering, driving, and all of a sudden these things become so difficult to the point where you might not be able to do these things anymore. And this isn't a permanent thing. More often than not, it's a temporary loss of skill, but it's still embarrassing because you hold yourself to a standard and you tell yourself that a normal human being should be able to shower, they should be able to cook, they should be able to drive. And you feel so much shame over the fact that you can't do these things the same way you used to before. A big reason why skills regress is because you put yourself under so much pressure to perform. You put yourself out there in a neurotypical society that expects so much from you. So between the masking and having to have a job and having to socialize with people and having to know what to say at the right time and when not to say certain things and when to say certain things, you get drained. And when you put so much stress on your body and your nervous system, your skills are going to inevitably regress. And this is very embarrassing for any human being, whether you're a child or an adult. Number three, you have a delayed processing of emotions. So this could look like you not knowing what you feel or how you feel in a particular moment. And when people ask you things like, how do you feel? Are you okay? You actually don't know if you're okay or not. So you probably lie or you freeze up and you feel like you're awkward. And in essence, you just don't know how you feel in the moment. There's actually nothing wrong with this because the neurotypical expectation that we should always know what we feel in any particular moment is actually wrong. That's a lot of pressure for any one of us to have to deal with. But in this society, that's how things are. So if you don't know how you feel in a particular moment, you're going to feel like you're behind other people's schedules. You'll feel like you're not like everybody else. And you're not, because eventually you will know how you feel, but you just need some time to process your emotions. You're not able to process your emotions as fast as other people. And that might not be the worst thing in the world because when we rush to make decisions, we often make the wrong decision. However, when there's pressure and the expectation that we should know how we feel instantly and we can't provide a response, it becomes embarrassing. If you struggle with delayed processing of your emotions, you have to know that you give your best answers and you make your best decisions when you give yourself some time. So don't let anybody rush you, and you have to make it okay for yourself to take time when it comes to big decisions. Things like, where should I live? Who should I date? What school should I go to? What career should I go into? It might take you a while to really understand how you feel about these big decisions. But if you're working off of somebody else's timeline, you're going to jump the gun and you're going to make a big decision without knowing exactly how you feel, which, as we know, is dangerous. But once again, we feel like we have to operate in other people's timeline, which is part of the problem here. But you have to give yourself some grace because the expectation that we should know at the drop of a dime how we feel has never been realistic. And it's too high of a standard for any one of us to have to deal with, regardless of if you're neurodivergent or not.